Hello, I'm Hugo Weaving, the guest host today on Roommate's YouTube channel. We're here to discuss the greatest movie ever made, The Matrix Resurrections. I unfortunately was not able to be a part of this movie due to scheduling conflicts with my performance with the National Theatre of London, but having seen the flawless performance of Jonathan Groff, I'm sure that I would have just held this movie back. The movie starts with a rendition of the opening scene of the original Matrix film, but it has been improved in every way. The wall running and bullet time crane kick look better than ever, and the chase to the roof and the jumping across the buildings is more thrilling than the original. Here we're introduced to Chad, played by Vanilla Ice, who you may know as the director of the John Wick films. Trinity and Chad consummate their marriage in this moving scene. Of course, the movie would be nothing without Keanu back as Neo, and we see Neo up to his old tricks, being told to follow the white bunny, and we meet Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick. I really applaud her for taking a role that doesn't give her much face time. Perhaps Lillian Crawford of Little White Lies said it best. The Wachowskis love to celebrate newcomers, and Jessica Henwick is sublime as Captain Bugs. Having had a number of small roles in other franchises, her lead turn here keeps The Matrix feeling fresh and alive. I do regret that she doesn't get enough lines in the movie, but when she does speak, it is so powerful.
Glide.
But this film in the series, more than any other, focuses on the romance between Neo and Trinity. As Manohla Dargis of the New York Times stated, the actors' sincerity and effortlessly synced performances have always been this series' greatest special effects, and watching them slip back into their old roles is a pleasure. And the scene where Neo and Trinity finally reunite after all these years prove how right Manohla is.
I know why you're here.
Because I'm lonely?
Because you're looking for it. I was once looking for it too. I met this other guy who was looking for it, and his cousin was looking for it, and his uncle's pet turtle's vet was looking for it too. When I found it, I realized I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for something else.
What?
It's the question that fuels you.
Are you on the pill?
I can't say enough about how great Jonathan Groff is, doing such a convincing Agent Smith that I forget it's not me up there. But also, I have to commend Jada Pinkett Smith for Agent Niobe. You see, Lana had this brilliant idea to expand the Agent Smith character into several characters, and created a hybrid of Agent Smith and Niobe. And look at this makeup. You can barely recognize her.
We need
to locate
one of
these
three
individuals.
Spend time together much?
Yes.
This is such an inspired move, and I'm glad that Lana Wachowski used it to bolster a lesser-known character. I'm sure there was a temptation to use a bigger character such as Morpheus for the concept, but if Lana is known for one thing, it's meticulous deliberation with her creative visions, and it plays off handsomely here. Speaking of Lana, she has made her acting debut in this movie as Gwen. This is a brave role, really putting herself out there.
Kind of like how I like to have sex with random strangers to fill the emptiness inside, stemming from the lack of love and attention from my father.
I don't know what you're doing later if you want.
It's so inspiring seeing Lana flourish like this. Also returning as Joe Pantoliano as Cypher. It's great getting to revisit this character since this is a reboot of the series. And Cypher has always struck me as one of the reasons why the original Matrix movie was always considered the best. His turn in the original was what made the plot so tense, and added to the philosophical intrigue by being an unplugged individual who wanted to return to ignorant bliss. His acting has only improved with time, as we can see in this remixed scene where Cypher is tortured instead of Neo.
We have had our eyes on you for some time. We're willing to let bygones be bygones, provided that you give us information that may lead to the arrest of a known criminal.
How about I give you the finger?
What good is your finger if you are unable to pick your nose?
Oh! Oh! No! 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 It doesn't work anymore!
Wow, I'll never tire of seeing Jonathan Groff as Agent Smith. But back to the budding romance between Neo and Trinity, the real core of this film. Richard Lawson of Vanity Fair put it beautifully. There is big feeling here, compassion, encouragement, swells of hard-won pride. And there are plenty of struggles along the way for these star-crossed lovers.
What's your path? To have sex with everyone?
It's difficult to explain. I'm looking for the other one as well.
Suck it up, Sonny. She said the same thing last week.
Shut up, Harold.
Harold? You fucked him too?
Twice.
And then when we finally get to meet Morpheus, Noel Lilly of the Chicago Reader points out, it becomes almost meta in the most magical way as the new Morpheus, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who once again shows his chameleon-like range, recounts the previous Matrix adventures to Neo, trying to spark his memory. Chameleon-like is the right word, as Lana and Yahya reconceived Morpheus as a little person and used forced perspective to allow the 6'3" actor to appear 4'5". And having appeared in both the Matrix and the Lord of the Ring trilogies, I feel qualified saying that Lana has mastered this technique that Peter Jackson amateurishly toyed with in his films.
Where is he?
I'm right here. At last, you have arrived.
You're so small.
Judge me not by size. That's quite a hole in your chest.
Oh, thank you. I just got it.
You may have spent the last few years looking for me, but I have been looking for all of you at least 3 years longer.
Why?
Because one of you is the other one.
Why is it the other one?
Several years ago, I found the one, but he died.
So one of the greatest things about this movie is how it gets rid of the mythos that Neo was the one. It also recognizes Neo's death in Revolutions, but shows how insignificant it was with the titular resurrections. Neo is back, better than ever, as if nothing happened. Now it is about the other one, or maybe, as we'll see by the movie's end, more than one. This is a genius way of making this movie better than all the others that came before it, by rendering everything that had been achieved in them pointless so we can do it over, and much better this time. In the recreation of the pill choice scene, we see exactly what Peter Travers of ABC News meant when he said, "In her fourth flight into alt-reality, Wachowski again skewers a narcotized sphere where humans dull our senses on a loop of numbing diversions."
You take the yellow bear, you'll go back to sleep and dream of being an 18-year-old girl taking a shower with Brad Pitt and be horny as a weasel. Weasel. You take the green bear and see what you really know about what you know. What you don't know, you don't know. Or think you know about what you don't know.
What?
I do love the cerebral stimulation of these movies. Truly mind-blowing stuff.
I think I know Wing Chun.
Man, what are you wearing? You look like a nut-juggling ass jockey. That's much better.
But I still think I know Wing Chun.
But these movies not only blow your mind, they get your heart pumping too with excellent action set pieces. We get one of the best scenes immediately after Neo and company are awakened. Soren Anderson of the Seattle Times praised this moment by writing that the greatest hits set pieces from The Matrix, the dojo bout between Neo and Morpheus, the bruising, gravity-defying fights with Smith, are recreated but with subtle changes. Thus is The Matrix reimagined. Wachowski has taken the familiar and modified it in such a way to make it seem new. It's a brilliant act of transformation.
Do you think that what I did had anything to do with my enormous muscles, or my cat-like reflexes, or my huge genitals?
That was amazing. We fought like... Well, I don't know what we fought like, but it was incredible.
When the crew goes to see the Oracle, we get a recreation of the iconic spoon-bending scene of the original.
What are you doing with that spoon?
Do not try to bend the spoon. Instead, try to see the truth.
What truth is that?
The fork is much easier to bend.
If you wonder how Lana is able to outdo on her own what she and her sister did in the original, K. Austin Collins of Rolling Stone has the answer. Lana Wachowski directed Resurrections alone, yet the juice, familiar from the siblings' collaborative projects, remains that peculiar genius for mixing the sentimental and obvious with the subliminal, the hyper-symbolic with the just out of reach. And the central accomplishment of Resurrections is in how deftly, even movingly, it nails the chemistry of this mix. I couldn't have said it better myself. And in case you were worried that we would only see callbacks to the original film, Lana Wachowski brought back the twins from Reloaded, wisely allowing them to do their own thing without the lackluster Merovingian hanging around to speak for them.
Don't you know who we are?
No.
We are
the twins. You don't really look like twins.
Well, we are, man.
With reconceiving the twins as dissimilar characters, and having Morpheus be a little person, we get to see the focal concept that Lana has stuck to throughout the Matrix series. Reality is what we make of it. The final act of the plot kicks off with the agents kidnapping Morpheus. There is a really tense scene where the heroes try to hide.
What are you doing? On the tree.
I'm sure that this scene is why Jada won her Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in a Film, since the intensity that she brings to this search and the excellent physical acting she uses in the fight scene afterward are unparalleled. I'm not 100% sure that she won. I didn't bother watching the Oscars this year because I knew that it would just be The Matrix Resurrections winning every category. But my niece Samara watched them, and she told me it was a big night for the Smith family, so I figure it must have been her first Oscar win. Congratulations, Jada. You deserve it. It must have been awkward, though, on the ride home, since Keanu must have beat out Will Smith for Best Actor. No offense, but Will likes to be the center of attention, so I can only imagine that seeing his wife win for the same movie that gave one of his competitors the win must have been hard for him. But then again, he is the kind of guy who stays cool under pressure, so I'm sure he took it in stride. That's right, back to the film. The iconic scene that Larry Fishburne and myself did in the original is once again made obsolete by the brilliant performances of Groff and Mateen. It's just so much more visceral this time. And the shootout sequence where Trinity and Neo go to rescue Morpheus is another that makes the first Matrix movie pale in comparison. This fourth film just has so much more life than any of the others, than any other work of art, period. As David Sims of The Atlantic stated, in Resurrections, the Matrix has shifted to something more wildly emotional and provocative, a universe of constant distraction and intense energy, embodying the all-out sensory assault that comes with being logged on in 2021. And the final showdown with the agents is truly a sight to behold. I like how Lana threw in a subtle reference to Charlie's Angels 2 Full Throttle in this scene, one of the only films that come even close to being as magnificent as Resurrections. It's with a heavy heart that I say that I have yet to work with McG, the director of both Charlie's Angels films, but my niece Samara has had the pleasure. In fact, Roommate tells me that he'll be covering The Babysitter, which stars Samara, in 2 weeks for his 50 Shades of Horror series. That guy's got good taste. In this scene, we see the tragic shooting of Bugs. But don't worry, she's fine. She has regenerative bunny powers. And I love how these special effects have improved in the last 2 decades. And the perfection of the most iconic shot of the movie, where Neo dodges the bullets the agents fire at him, is such a triumph to see back. I'm glad that for all the things that she radically altered, the bullet time was honored with just minor improvements. It just wouldn't feel like a Matrix movie without that beautiful bullet time being lovingly crafted once again.
Whoa.
But it does take a lot out of Neo.
Are you okay?
No. I definitely threw my back out.
So Gwyn steps up, defeating Agent Smith on her own. It brings me such joy to see Lana choose to make women the hero of this story, with her own character no less. We get to see Groff explode just like I did at the end of the movie, another excellent callback to a breathtaking scene. Once Morpheus is freed and rejoins them, they want answers about what their journey has meant.
Now do you believe?
I believe in everything, but am I the other one, or is he?
You have fought the agents by finding your truth. Through that, reaching your full potential, becoming all the other ones.
Son of a whore! Does this mean I get my money back?
So, is this the end?
Oh no. It is only just the beginning.
I wasn't sure if this would be the final Matrix movie, though the critical, casual, and commercial success that this apex of cinema has garnered would make it possible certainly. But it's so great to see that the auteur Lana Wachowski has set up sequel potential for this movie, so that we can see all of the other ones come into their own and free the humans from the Matrix.
Okay, mommy.
At the end of the first movie, I had always suspected that this is where the Wachowskis were going with it. So I was surprised when the third movie ended with a ceasefire that only let the catastrophically damaged Zion hang on by a thread. But it looks like this new series is setting up for a grand finale where everyone could be unplugged from the Matrix for good. And I imagine the cast is thrilled about continuing the series. Caroline Seda must have thought the same thing when she wrote for Fox 10 Phoenix that above all, there is a real sense of joy here, both from a cast who are clearly ecstatic to be back in this world, and for the characters themselves who find new hope in revisiting the past. So will Matrix 5 be able to top the Matrix 4? It seems impossible, but if anyone can do it, it's the dream team of David Mitchell, Alexander Heyman, and Lana Wachowski. Here's hoping I can get a small part in one of the upcoming movies. But for now, you can see me in Expired, which is available for rent right here on YouTube. It's no Matrix Resurrections, but considering that you've probably already seen that a few dozen times, you might as well mix it up a little. I'd like to thank Roommate for having me on his channel. I'd like to thank you for watching, and have a happy Friday.